What's up, guys? It's your boy True Exodus 7 here, and today I'm coming at you with another episode of Storytime. But before we get into Storytime, I want to let you guys in on a little bit of an update for the channel for the next couple of weeks. I work Monday through Sunday, 12 to 8. I have Saturdays off because of CHWA, but then Sunday I work 12 to 5. So throughout the week, there will be gameplay posted, but it's going to be vlogs during the day, and game videos during the night. And on Sunday, I'm going to be pre-recording a lot of gameplay, so that way I can edit it and upload it through the week. So I'm still going to have gameplay and stuff, but mostly until we get more people at the store I work at, I'm going to be working a lot of hours. So it's going to be a variety of vlogs and gameplay. So just stay patient with me. We're getting ready to hire some new people, and once we do, I'll have more free time, and I'll actually have a full day off, not just, a day off plus wrestling. So stay patient, and thank you guys for all the love and support that you guys have been showing the channel. I truly appreciate it. If you haven't checked out my Alice in Chains vocal cover that I uploaded last night, go check that out. And since this is Storytime, if you haven't watched the first episode of Storytime, go check that out. I actually told the story of the greatest gig I ever played with the best band that I've ever been in, and it was amazing. And the story is awesome and hilarious and emotional, so you guys should go check that out. But today's Storytime, we are talking about how I met the wife. So, and also how I got in a relationship with the wife, but that's later on in the video. So right now we're going to talk about how I got with the wife. So a couple years ago, I was really heavily involved and influenced by skateboarding. I was at the skate park every single day. Anybody that knows me can tell you that's not a lie. In fact, I have a skateboard tattoo on my forearm, and eventually I'm going to do a walkthrough of all my tattoos and the meaning behind them, so that way you guys know every single ounce of ink on my body and what it stands for. But I was really heavily involved in skateboarding. I was a sponsored scooter rider, and I really loved skateboarding because skateboarding was the first actual sport that I shared with my friends. And my grandpa used to always tell me, like, you know, you can be a pro skateboarder if you put your mind to it, and he was always really supportive of it. So I've always been into skateboarding because of him and because I just fell in love with it. So a couple years ago, I really ran the skate park with a group of friends, and I don't mean that to sound cocky. What I mean by we used to run the skate park is we kind of policed it. We didn't deal with bullshit and drama and fighting and drugs. Like, if you brought any of that to the skate park, like, we told you to get the fuck out. You know, because at the time, the police station is still right down the road from the skate park, even though that skate park's not open anymore. And the way it used to work is, like, if the police got called down there for anything, they would close it for so long. And it just really sucked because then none of us really had a place to skate, and the nearest skate park from my house that was actually skatable was about 12 miles walk, and it was right in the middle of a really bad spot in Alton, Illinois. So, you know, it really wasn't a good location. So that was really the only thing we had to skate. So anyway, so I'm up there one day, and I'm skating with all my homies, and I had a girlfriend at the time. And just for this video, when I say girlfriend at the time, that doesn't mean Maddie. That doesn't mean the wife. That means the girl I was dating then. And when I say Maddie, that is the wife. So just so you guys are aware of the difference, all right? So I was up there, and I'm skating around, and I'm having a good time with my friends, and we're filming a video, and this short little chick walks in. And, I mean, she was like 4'8", maybe 90 pounds, soaking wet, with 2 bricks in her pocket. And she walks in a green Blink-182 shirt and a Beagle. And I immediately, like, connected with her because I loved Blink-182. And the girl that had walked in was Maddie, the wife. And she walked in, and I was like, hey, dude, nice shirt. And she's like, hey, are you Christian? And I was like, yeah. And I had no idea who this chick was, keep in mind, because she had just moved here from Ohio, and, like, that summer she had been moving or going back and forth between her dad and her mom's Ohio and here. So I had no idea who she was, but I didn't know her little brother Garrett knew me from the skate park because, you know, I'm kind of the guy at the skate park. I've always tried when there's little kids in the skate park to teach them, like, hey, we all take turns. You know, here's how you do this trick. I'm that guy. So her brother had been up there and seen me do backflips on my scooter, and at the time my hair was actually almost down to my rib cage. So he went home and had told Maddie, the wife, you know, the guy with the long hair that does backflips with the orange scooter, you know, he's really cool. If you go up there, you should talk to him because he's really nice. So she came up and she just struck up a conversation with me, and we talked about music, and I told her about the band I was in. And, you know, we had a really good conversation about dogs, and, you know, she was from Ohio and all this stuff. So then she informed me that these 3 girls were on their way up there, and she was worried because they wanted to assault her. They wanted to jump her. And I told her, hey, that girl over there is my girlfriend. Go stand over by her, and if those 3 chicks show up, me and my friends will take care of it. We'll tell them to leave. We'll tell them to fuck off. No one's going to come in here and do anything. So Maddie goes over and she strikes up a conversation with the girl I was dating at the time, and they're talking about iPhones and stuff I really don't understand, and they're talking about iPhones and dogs and like cars and stuff, the stuff girls talk about, I guess. I don't know. So they're over there having a conversation, and I'm with my buddies, and I'm on the ramp closest to the door of the skate park, and all of a sudden I see this really shitty Cavalier driving down the street with really loud rap music playing. Now, I'm not really one to judge a book by its cover, because at a skate park you'll see a lot of like different cars, loud music, a lot of different walks of life, but I could tell just by the atmosphere of how fast the car pulled in. It stopped immediately, all the doors open, the music was slammed, just bumping, the doors got slammed, and there were 3 chicks, and I immediately knew those are the girls right there that are going to come in the skate park and try to start some shit. I knew it right then and right there. So I skate over to where Maddie and my girlfriend at the time were sitting, and I get my 2 buddies that were with me, and we skated over there, and Maddie was like, yeah, those are the girls, they're going to come in here, they're going to try to hurt me. And I told her, like I said, if they come in here, we'll tell them to get the fuck out. They're not doing this here, and it's not happening. I'm sorry. So we skate off, and we skate kind of over by the door, and we're all kind of like watching Maddie, and we're watching what these chicks are doing. And it took these chicks about a good 10 minutes to get from their car into the skate park, because I think that they already knew walking into a skate park that the skaters really weren't going to let anything happen. But, when you're enraged and when you're pissed off at somebody enough and you've got your friends, yeah, go do it, go kick his ass, yeah, it prompts you to do some pretty stupid shit. So these girls finally make their way in the skate park, and they didn't even get 2 steps in the skate park, and they're like, you fucking bitch, blah, 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 fuck you, my vagina hurts, bitch, blah, all that stupid shit. So me and my friends, we skate up, and we're like, what's the problem? And they're like, that little bitch over there, and they point at Maddie. I'm like, we can do without the name calling. And they're like, hey, fuck you, buddy. And I was like, no, bitch, look here, fuck you. And I went off. Because back in the day, I didn't really have a filter. I still kind of don't. But back in the day, if somebody came in the skate park, and I tried to be polite to them, and they told me to go fuck myself, well, hey, go fuck yourself right back. That's how I look at it. So I tell them, like, you need to leave the skate park, or we're going to call the cops, and we're going to put you in fucking jail. It's that fucking simple. Go fuck yourself. So they get pissed off, and they leave. And they drive down the street, but they turn right by the police station, because the police station and the skate park are like 100 foot from each other. They're not that far away. A cop can get to the skate park on foot in probably like 30 seconds, and by car, not even 10 seconds. So it's really not hard to get somebody arrested there. So they drive off, and they turn right at the police station, and that's actually how you'd get to the wife's house. So she approaches me, and she's like, I just got a call from my dad. I have to go home. But those girls and that guy just turned right, and I don't want to go home alone. So I offered to walk her home, but, me being a guy, I can't physically touch these 3 chicks, or I'm going to go to jail. So I prompted my girlfriend at the time and her 2 girlfriends to walk Madison home. So they walk Maddie home, and probably about 10 minutes later, I see the girlfriend I was dating at the time and her friend walking back. Or her 2 friends, I apologize. Her 2 friends walking back. And all of a sudden, once they get in the skate park, here comes the Cavalier again. And it pulls in, and they slam on the brakes, and, they throw the car in park, and they get out. And they're cussing and they're screaming from their car, but they're not right next to their car. Well, then a cop, I guess one of the neighbors called the cops, and thank God that they fucking did. They called the cops, and a cop car comes. Now, the 2 girls that had really not said much, but were still kind of involved, just bolted. They just ran like hell. Now, this other girl, the one that told me to go fuck myself, I'm a huge believer in instant fucking karma. Huge believer in instant karma. And this girl runs across the street, because at the time, the street was kind of under construction. So this girl runs across the street, and she hides behind a bulldozer. Or not a bulldozer, I forget what it's called, but it's the big tractor thing with the big fucking bucket with the claws in the front. I think that might be a bulldozer. I think that's a bulldozer. I could be wrong. But she runs and she hides behind the little bucket thing, the big bucket thing on the tractor. And the police pull up and they get out of their car, and they immediately come to me. They immediately walk right up to me because, like I said, they knew, the police knew that, we weren't going to lie to them. And I'm sorry. Like, if you come to my skate park starting shit and the cops show up, I'm not going to lie for you because I probably don't know you if you are starting shit because I don't hang out with people who start shit. And quite frankly, if you are starting shit, and, I don't care what happens to you. Go fuck yourself. But they asked me where these three girls went. I said two of them went that way, but the other one's hiding behind that bulldozer right behind you, behind the bucket. And they start walking over there, and she comes out, and she's crying. Well, she tries to run, and that automatically, like, that's fucking stupid. If the cop is, like, 10 foot from you, why are you going to fucking run? You're fucking stupid. He's probably going to tase you. But I guess this cop knew that this girl was underage or whatever. And instead of tasing her, he grabbed her, tackled her to the ground, put her in handcuffs, put her in the back of the car. And, all of us in the skate park, all the skaters, all the dudes and chicks just hanging out, having a good time. We're like, yeah, fuck that bitch. We're laughing and clapping and having a good time. And the driver of the Cavalier actually got arrested too because I guess he was older. I guess he was like in his 20s driving around these underage girls to just go start shit. And like if you're hanging out with high school kids and you're in your 20s and you're just looking to start shit, you got problems. All right, I'm not trying to be a dick, but you've got problems. So he got arrested too because they told him to leave, and he told the cop, go fuck yourself. You don't tell a cop to go fuck themselves because then they're going to arrest you and tell you, hey, fuck you, buddy. So he got arrested too for trespassing, and it was instant karma. So that's how I met the wife. Now let's talk about how me and the wife got together. So me and that girl that I was dating at the time, we had dated for about 2 years after that. We'd only been dating almost a year when that happened. We dated about 3.5 years almost. The first year was kind of on and off, but the last 2 years were solid, no breakups, 2 years. We broke up, and I'm not going to talk about why we broke up, and I'm not going to knock that girl that I was dating at the time because she taught me a lot, I taught her a lot, and in the relationship we did have a lot of fun together. But, we weren't compatible, and we just split it off, and, I still have a great amount of respect for that girl, and she's still somebody I consider a friend. So if you're watching this video, what's up? But, so the wife and I start talking more and more after the breakup, and we had talked like during the time that me and this other girl were together, but just as friends, nothing, no feelings, nothing like that. But when I broke up with this girl, I was kind of like, Maddie is a really cute chick. She's always been there for me, but I thought it was one of those things where I was like, oh, I just got out of a relationship. That's probably just me wanting that feeling of being wanted and missing that feeling of being in a relationship, because when you break up with somebody that you've been with for a long time, it's kind of like a drug withdrawal. You miss the cuddling and the talking and all that fun shit. So I kind of thought that, and one day I had planned to go to lunch with a buddy of mine after school. Unfortunately, this buddy got a call from his dad. He had to go home, so I didn't have anybody to go with. And Maddie at the time was my best friend. Even though she was a girl, she was my best friend. Other than Chase, but Chase was the buddy that had to go home. So she was my best friend. So I asked her, I was like, hey, you got any plans after school? She's like, no. I was like, hey, you want to go grab a bite to eat? And she's like, sure, that sounds like fun. And she's like, are you asking me on a date? And I was like, no, it's not a date. I was like, Chase canceled on me, and, I just want to go get something to eat, and you're my friend, it's just as friends. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. Sounds like a fun time. Because, like, at the time, I didn't know Maddie had feelings for me. She was kind of into another guy. She told me about this other guy, and I'm the kind of guy, like, I don't intrude on relationships, and if you're talking to somebody and we start talking and I find out you're talking to them, like, go be with them because I'm not going to be a second choice, and I'm not trying to ruin anybody's chances, and I don't want any drama. So, Maddie, I had no idea Maddie had feelings for me at the time. So we go to Steak and Shake, and we have a good time, and we're talking, we're laughing, we're talking about a whole bunch of different shit. We're talking about The Walking Dead, we're talking about school, we're talking about music, and we talk about skateboarding a little bit, and she'd ask me, like, hey, are you still hooked up on that team? And I, told her, nah, not really, and we just had this really long talk, and so I took her home that night, and I dropped her off, gave her a hug, said what's up to her brother, and I left. So I came home that night, and we were texting with each other a little bit, and, we just kind of opened the can of, would it be possible to be in a relationship? Just talking about it, not like, oh, let's do it right now. No, like just talking about, if a relationship would work is the best way I can word it. And we kind of both agreed that that wasn't an appropriate time. I was still like, it was 3 months after I'd got out of that other relationship, so the breakup, it was still somewhat fresh. It wasn't like, I wasn't thinking about it every day, and, like, I wasn't depressed and crying about it every day for 3 months, but I was still, a little emotionally fucked up. So I wasn't really looking for a relationship, and Maddie had just got out of a relationship too. So we both agreed we really weren't ready for a relationship, but we could go out on a date and we could see how it would go. So I went out. I forget where we went. I think it was Fazoli's. We went on another date, and like to me, a date, it doesn't matter if you go to a cheap restaurant, an expensive restaurant. A date to me is legitimately just sitting out under the stars and looking up. As long as you're spending time with the person, to me that's a date. And Maddie feels the same way, and it's so awesome. I love my girlfriend. It's so awesome we have a relationship like that. But anyway, sorry, I'm rambling. Back to the story. So we go out to Fazoli's and then we go walk around the mall, and like I think I bought her a shirt or something. I can't remember. It's been too long now. So we go out and we're just having a good time, and I drop her off and I give her another hug, and I come home and I'm texting with her, and I'm like, I'd really like to maybe try a relationship, but right now I'd want to meet your dad first because I was raised really old school, like very traditional old school. I don't make the first move. You meet the parents first, you ask for the dad's blessing, that kind of thing. So I told her that for almost 2 weeks because she just kept saying, when can we be together? You treat me right. I treat you right. We have so much fun together. And I kept saying the same thing. I want to be with you so bad. You're so cool. You're beautiful, that kind of thing. And I was like, but I have to meet your parents. And her parents both work, crazy hours because they own a restaurant. So they're always at that restaurant. So it was really hard for me to finally get to meet him. But when I finally got to meet him, it was about homecoming time for school. And I had met him, and there's a little bit of an age difference between Maddie and I. Nothing crazy, but um, I have tattoos obviously, and I had before I had this Jason one, all I had was the skate tattoo on my forearm that was visible. So she told her dad, not knowing I had other tattoos because she'd never seen me with my shirt off, that I only had one tattoo. And he met me, and I started talking to him, and then he said, "So let me see your tattoo." And I showed him this one. Well, then I pulled up my sleeves and showed him my two arm tattoos and my chest tattoo. So later on that night, Maddie was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know you had more tattoos. My dad thinks I'm a liar. He thinks, you're this horrible person." And I was like, fuck. I was so upset. But then he gave me a chance to come over and have dinner with them. And I went over and we struck up a good conversation about work and religion and school. And like, me and her dad just kind of clicked a little bit. And after Maddie went downstairs because she was going to change, because I think we were going to go out to the arcade or something, I asked her dad, "How would you feel about me and your daughter officially being a couple? How do you feel about it?" And he said, "Well, you seem like a really good guy. I'm willing to give it a chance." And I said, "So is that a yes?" And he said, "Yes, you have my blessing." I was like, in my head, I was like, fucking right, dude. I was so fucking happy. But on the outside, I was like, thank you so very much. I'm not going to mistreat your daughter. And we had this conversation about it. Maddie came upstairs, and we left. Now, she had no idea that her dad had gave me this blessing yet. And I was going to ask her out in a few days. I was going to think of a creative way to do it, because I like to be creative, okay? I'm a creative kind of guy. So I was thinking of all these ways to ask her out, and she beat me to the fucking punch. So we went to the skate park after school one day, and she was filming a video for me. And a video part, I think it was my fall edit that we were filming. Or no, it was my spring edit that we were filming. And we were just talking and just having a good time. And the next thing I knew, she turned on Scout's Honor. She told me to sit down, and her friend was filming me, and I didn't realize her friend was filming me. And she said, "I know that you want to get my dad's blessing, but I was wondering, would you be my boyfriend?" And I cracked a smile from ear to ear, and I just started laughing, and I was like, yes, of course, 100%. I gave her a big hug, and I finally kissed her. And I kissed her, and I told her, "By the way, your dad gave me his blessing 3 or 4 days ago. I just hadn't thought of a way to ask you out yet because I'm kind of a pussy." So the wife and I hit it off, and we started dating, and here we are almost 2 years later. And, she's the love of my life. She makes me incredibly happy. She's my motivation to get up in the morning. She's my motivation to go to work. She's my motivation to come home. She's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, guys. And, the thing is about love, people always say, well, when you're young, you fall for puppy love. But the thing is, the way I was raised, such an old school way, when that person comes into your life, you know it. Because you don't fight violently, you don't call each other names. you only look to build one another. And that's all me and the wife ever do when we argue is we talk. We don't scream. We don't cuss each other out. There's no reason for it. And we have not yelled at each other and cussed each other out in 2 solid years. So, guys, that's how I met the wife. That's how I started dating the wife. I have no doubt in my mind that you guys, if you haven't already, will find that one girl or guy that just comes into your life and just makes everything that much more beautiful. So that's how I met the wife. That's how I started dating the wife. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. This was episode 2. If you haven't done it already, go check out episode 1. It was about my band and the greatest gig we ever played. If you stayed this whole 20 minutes and 33-second long video, props to you, because that's awesome. So shout out to the people who stayed through the whole fucking video. If you guys haven't done it already, go check out my Alice in Chains Nutshell vocal cover. I posted that yesterday. It's got a bunch of positive feedback so far, but if you guys haven't checked it out, go check it out. Leave me some feedback, whether it be positive or negative. And, until the next video, real quick, cheers. Alright, guys. I love each and every one of you. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your night. I will see you guys very, very soon. Go check out the rest of my channel. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you did enjoy the video, drop a like. And until the next video, peace, love, and zombie slaying to all of the wonderful, wonderful True Nerd Nation, the greatest nation on God's green earth, and the truest family here on YouTube. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Later, guys.